Hey, what's up, Cohort 44? I hope you're having a great day. Happy Monday to you, wherever you are. I pray that as you participate in God's mission to reconcile creation to Himself, that God just blesses you and enriches you this week. It's starting to get warm here in sunny Northeast Florida. And this Michigan boy is surprised at how quickly it can reach 90 degrees when my friends still up north are still wearing light jackets and whatnot. But we're powering through and enjoying the sunshine. But a couple things real quick. I wanted to touch base because I just got done reviewing your report on Jane Vella's Learning to Listen, Learning to Teach. And they were fantastic. So very well done. Really good synthesis of the material, really good contextualizing to your context. Like I've mentioned previously, that's really learning to think missiologically. It really involves taking, not just regurgitating material in a report, but taking at it and saying, okay, what am I going to do with what I've learned and apply it specifically to my context, and not just simply saying, okay, I'm going to, but saying how I'm going to, or how I plan to, how this might look if I were to do it. And that's really what we want you to do. And you guys did a really good job at that, of looking at, okay, this is specifically how something like this could fit into my context, or this is why it couldn't, or this is the difficulty that I would face. Wrestling with those kind of concepts really kind of kicks things up a notch in terms of critical thinking. So a couple things. One thing that you guys, a lot of you touched on, was difficulties in transitioning to an andragogy format and things of that sort. And we'll learn more about what it looks like to form an andragogy adult, like an adult learning environment, later on in the cohort sequence. But really, it's kind of packed in that phrase that of transitioning from being a sage on the stage to being a guide on the side. A guide is still a guide. It is not just a passive observer, but someone who's actually leading the discussion, the dialogue somewhere. And that somewhere is the goals and objectives of the class. So andragogy isn't just kind of sitting around and sharing stories, but it's sharing stories with purpose. It's sharing perspectives with purpose, and we'll unpack more what that looks like later on. But really good critique and engagement of the material. I really enjoyed reading that. And a couple housekeeping items and your mechanics on your paper. One thing, in your parenthetical references, make sure that you're not putting a comma between the author and the year of publication. The comma goes between the year of publication and the page or location number. So it'll read Vella 2002, comma 5, instead of not Vella, comma 2002, comma 5. Does that make sense? So make sure that you're just omitting that comma, no comma between author and publication year. And then additionally, one of the things that I wanted to really touch on is kind of answering the question of when to cite. A lot of you already get this and have it down pat. There are a few that seem to kind of only cite when there was a direct quotation, which is great. You definitely want to do that. But I would even say, more importantly, when you're taking a concept from the text that isn't necessarily a direct quotation, but the idea comes from the text, you want to make sure you cite that idea in your paper. So kind of the rule of thumb I use is, did I know this before I interacted with this material? If I knew it before I interacted with the material, I don't cite it, or I cite where I got it from before. If I didn't know it, if it's something new that I've learned by engaging with the material, I can put it into my own words. In fact, we'd prefer that you put it into your own words and cite where it came from, rather than just having a direct quotation, because that shows that when you're able to articulate it in your own terms, it's a deeper level of integration with the material than simply pulling a quote. So just keep that in mind. Did I learn something from, or what did I learn from this that I'm putting in here, and where do I make sure that I cite it appropriately in the paper? So the last thing that I wanted to touch on is a reminder that we are having a voluntary Blue Jeans conversation with anyone who wants to be a part of it on May 28th. That's a Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So 6 p.m. Pacific time. Kind of adjust your time zones accordingly. But in the course announcements, the last announcement that I made, the link is in there, and as we get closer, I'll post another one as well. But I'd love to have you out to that. It's not required by any stretch of the imagination, but if you want to come out, join us virtually with that. Come prepared with any questions that you have. We only have an hour, but come prepared with any questions that you have. A few were given to me in the Fuller Cafe, which we'll discuss. But anything about your MAGL journey or about andragogy or something, underwater basket weaving, whatever it is. I'm not very informed on that topic, but we'll do the best that we can. But whatever questions that you might have, your academic journey in general, considering doctoral studies, whatever, feel free to come out and even if you don't have any questions and you just want to get to know your cohort mates a little bit, this is a great opportunity to do that. So appreciate you guys. I'm praying for you. We're going full steam ahead in this course. So the first class of your MAGL sequence we're over the hill on it and coming into the second stretch. So I'm excited to see where God leads us in this second half of the class. Blessings.